2010 has been a banner season for Big Ten women's gymnastics. Record-setting performances, keen competition, and new heights. This afternoon, all the Big Ten teams come together in Columbus as the conference showcases the best in the sport. The championships live on the Big Ten Network. We greet you from St. John Arena on the campus of The Ohio State University for the 2010 Women's Big Ten Gymnastics Championships presented by Pure Silk. Today we'll crown a team champion as well as a champion in the individual all-around competition. And hi everybody, welcome to Columbus, Ohio. I'm Mike Lederman, joined by two former Big Ten All-Americans, Eddie Humphrey and Elise Ray. Eddie, when we talk about the team championship, the past 2 decades, it's been Michigan, Michigan, Michigan. 16 out of the last 18 seasons, and Beverly Plocky thinks, well, why not make it one more?
Well, Michigan has had a tremendous season. Right now, they come in ranked #1 in the conference, and they're the 3-time defending champions of this competition. The seniors are hoping to go out with all 4 rings.
Well, a couple of teams want to have something to say about that, specifically Illinois and Penn State. Start with the Illini and Bob Starkell.
Well, the Illini have come in, placed second at the past 2 championships. They want nothing more to finally walk out with the championship.
And so does Steve Shepard at Penn State. He'd like his first.
Penn State actually knocked out Michigan earlier this year. For the first time in over 2 years, Michigan has lost a Big Ten competition. Hopefully they can try to do the same thing today to bring home the medals.
And a few other teams want their say in it as well. As far as the all-around is concerned, at least you've got a little bit of experience in this, having won it back in 2004 with the all-time high mark. Brandy Personette is this year's flavor of the year. She's won it 2 of the last 3 seasons from Penn State. She didn't win last year, but as a senior, I know she wants to go out on top.
That's right. This is Brandy's senior year, her final Big Ten championship. She is really going to go for it tonight. She's ranked #1 in the conference as of now. But right on her heels is Kylie Boderman from Michigan, a .01 difference in their average all-around score thus far. Sarah Curtis from Michigan, another all-around strong performer.
And 3 All-Americans from Illinois.
We have Allison Buckley from Illinois, Sarah Schmidt, and Melissa Fernandez, all All-Americans who are going to be fighting to the end. It's going to come down to details and execution tonight to see who our winner will be.
Well, we will have this all for you over the next 3 hours, so stay tuned right here. We're live on the Big Ten Network. The Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships is presented by Pure Silk Shave Cream. For legs like silk, try Pure Silk in new rust-proof aluminum cans. A beautiful shot. The entrance to the Horseshoe, the famed Horseshoe here on the Ohio State campus. We're right next door at St. John Arena, and there's the scene inside. Our first rotation coming up, Ohio State, the Buckeyes, home team on the vault, Iowa on the uneven bars, Michigan State on the beam, and Illinois will start on the floor. As we told you in our opening, Michigan has won 3 straight titles, 16 of the last 18. The only other team that has broken that streak twice, in 1998 and 2006, the University of Minnesota, the Golden Gophers. So first up, we will go to the balance beam, certainly the trickiest of the event, where many a title is decided. And a good look at Rochelle Robinson, senior from Michigan State. She has competed beautifully for 4 years and has a lot of injuries to show for it, too. She's really been hurt a lot this season, as have many gymnasts, but Rochelle trying to go out with a strong routine.
Beam can be a tricky event to start on. Your nerves are going, you're feeling the energy of the competition, yet on the balance beam you have to be very focused and quiet in your mind. So it can be a tricky event to start on. She's looking good so far, looks confident.
They like to start her on beam because of her consistency.
Beautiful front aerial.
Right now she's on.
It's a full turn right there. That's a required element in the beam routine. Looks like she's setting up for her flight series here. Back handspring, back handspring. Oh, right into a dismount, a gainer full off the side. She went handspring back layout right into that dismount. Very difficult.
And a great start for Michigan State to open up this championship.
She got a hug from her coach, Kathy Klages.
Back handspring, one arm back handspring. Take note of that. Very, very difficult. Just one hand on that beam directly into a full off the side. Beautiful dismount. Great way to start for the Spartans.
Great excitement for her team in the back.
Now to Ohio State. Here is sophomore Casey Williamson. Because of all the injuries, she has had to compete all around and get a trial by fire, and she has certainly responded. Casey on the vault for the home team Buckeyes.
In contrast to the balance beam vault, is a great event to start on. You can just let loose, let all that adrenaline and nerve just run down that runway and let it out.
This is such an aggressive event. You have to have a fast approach. Everything has to be perfectly on. She's going to perform a Yurchenko entry, layout half, small hop.
She handled that blind landing very well. As you can tell here at the end, she will not see the mat until the very end of her trick.
This is out of a 10-0 start value.
And there is Casey Williamson. She's gone 9.875 on this event for the Buckeyes. And there's a good look at Melissa Fernandez. Only, well, they say she's 5 feet. Melissa says she's 5 feet. But she certainly has the stature to be an All-America from Eudora, Kansas. And here she is, her floor exercise for the University of Illinois. And for a team that really is challenging, good place to start would be on the floor.
And this is a good event for her. She was just selected to the Big Ten first team.
Melissa is a definite all-around contender tonight, so every event will count for her. Looks relaxed. See some smiles out there already. That's a good thing.
It's her first year competing on floor.
Setting up for a first pass. A double pike.
Very clean. Looks good so far.
Nice landing. Showing off the dance. Setting up for a second pass. 2.5, punch front. Well done. This is a strong routine thus far.
Attaching 2 tricks as she did in her second pass can be very tricky. She handled it beautifully. You can see why she's in the lineup this year.
Looking for a clean landing.
And she does it.
Front full, punch a layout.
Beautiful routine for the Illini to start with.
This should bring in a good score.
Definitely.
Strong start for Illinois.
Melissa Fernandez, Jr. from Eudora, Kansas.
And this is her first tumbling pass. The round up by handspring, double pike. Nice solid landing, great height.
We were talking about the execution, how important it is in this competition. As you can see, all her landings are very clean. Her legs are together. All of that will count in the end.
Not giving away anything to the judges.
One of the 3 All-Americans on Illinois. Moments ago, last year's Freshman of the Year, Ohio State's Taylor Jones on the vault.
Doing another Yurchenko entry, Yurchenko full. Just a small hop, scoring a 9.775 for Ohio State.
Taylor bothered all year by bad back problems, but she is still vaulting and doing well. We'll see her on the beam as well.
Ohio State hosting the competition. They've had a lot of success here. They knocked off Penn State.
And here is the captain of the Ohio State Buckeyes. What a story she is. Hillary Dow. Just a couple of weeks ago, she was working on a stress fracture in one ankle, and you see both her tape because she came down on a floor exercise and screamed in pain. Nobody thought she'd be competing for the rest of the season, but here she is, all taped up. She's not going to miss it. And that's why she's the captain. And
that's right. She is just a true fighter. Vault is such a tough event to compete with, practice with, if you have any sort of ankle injury. It is just a tribute to her, really, to see her out here tonight.
Normally an all-arounder, but she'll do the vault tonight and probably the uneven bars.
Coming in ranked 16th in the conference on this event. And a nice Yurchenko full.
Very nice. You'd never know. She was probably hurting the whole way down that runway.
It looks like she limped off a little bit there.
Carrie Fagan,
fighting those injuries. You can see the grimace in her face. Approaching her Yurchenko full. And has to pike down just a little bit. Didn't need to. But way to work through the pain.
It's worth mentioning, too, that this is National Athletic Training Month this month. Those athletic trainers work so hard to keep those athletes together.
Overtime, especially in this sport.
So a big thank you is due to them.
Yes, very much. And all the surgeons keeping these athletes intact.
You can see Hillary limping. And here is the freshman, Shanti Taiki from Michigan State. Very exciting performer. You are going to see her in the all-around for the Spartans. And she, again, because of injuries, has been pushed to do a lot more than she thought she'd have to do when she first came to East Lansing.
But she's had a great freshman year. Was named Big Ten Freshman of the Week a couple times. And finishes with a big dismount.
Freshman from Columbus, Indiana.
Handling the pressure.
It's a big job to be an all-arounder as a freshman, but she certainly has risen to the occasion.
Well, she hasn't fallen off the beam all year, her coach says, and she didn't this time. Did a nice routine.
Very consistent.
Over to the uneven bars, and our first look at Corey Gabejian. And you are going to enjoy her. She is a junior at the University of Iowa from Newton, Massachusetts, as you can see. All-arounder for Larissa Libby's Jim Hawks, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Number 8 in the conference on this event. Waiting for the judge.
Larissa Libby, she was a competitive gymnast at age 11 in Canada, made the Canadian Olympic team. Now she is coaching her Chargers, 6th year at the helm.
It'll be important to watch tonight the handstands and all of these bar routines. The details really, really matter in championship competitions. It is important that all the competitors get vertical on their handstands. The judges will really take them on that. You can see Horton is a little bit short on just all of her handstands, but solid routine so far.
Full twisting double back. A great routine. Iowa's off to a strong start on the bars.
Big dismount right there.
And this is a dismount. It's a double tuck with a full twist. An E dismount. Almost sticks it.
Almost. Very clean. Her knees were together, feet were together. Nicely done.
Lena Skaveka, the assistant coach, got a back full of chalk and a hug. And the anchor on Ohio State for the vault. Here is All-American Rebecca Best, the first Ohio State All-American in 10 years.
Rebecca showing us a 1.5. Only a few athletes competing that today. We'll see that a couple more times, but not easy to do. We saw her teammate do the same vault with just a half twist. She adds another full twist to that vault.
That's right. That is not an easy vault at all, like you mentioned. It's that blind landing, and just that half a twist adds a lot more difficulty to the vault.
And she performed it so well.
She did.
Rebecca is a fashion design major from Williamstown, New Jersey. And you can see a lot of Michigan fans made the trip today. They'd like to see another championship for them. Rebecca Simbutis for Iowa from north of the border, recreation management major. And here she is, floor exercise, where she is top 10 in the conference. Her sister Jennifer competed last year. That is she, off to Rebecca's left.
And she was another Canadian national team member. Has represented her country in many of international competition.
She's the anchor on this event, so she's looking to put up a big score here.
Opening up with a toe on. Toe on the blind change. It's immediate Jaeger, very nice. Transitioning to the low bar with the bail handstand. And setting up for her dismount, really trying to go after those handstands. Blind full to a double pike. Iowa starting strong on the bars.
Well, you never know. The Hawkeyes were 6th in the Big Ten. They have a very strong uneven bars routine. Rebecca Sambutis, the junior from Markham, Ontario, right there.
She had some beautiful toe-on work there. You won't see that too often tonight.
Next, over to the floor exercise, and here is one of the All-Americans from Illinois, another of the All-Americans, we should say. We saw Melissa Fernandez. Here is Allison Buckley, a junior from Schaumburg, Illinois. A kinesiology major, a junior now, freshman of the year a couple years ago, and there's the Illini bench cheering her on.
Her personal best on this event, a 9.95 last year at the West Regional Championships, hoping to duplicate that here.
Right.
Yeah, this is a great event for Allison. Another gymnast going for that all-around title, hoping that her floor score will get her there.
Double full punch front.
Very difficult first pass, solid landing. Illinois does a great job with really showing off to the crowd, smiling. The judges love that.
A lot of energy.
They're tops in the conference on the floor, and here's Buckley, who's 4th by herself.
And she's showing why right now. She's won 41 overall titles at the University of Illinois. That's 2nd in school history.
Floor exercise is such a fun event to compete. There's a lot of creative expression out there in the choreography. You can really let loose in the tumbling and really go for it.
She's letting loose right now.
She is. She has some great choreography out there.
Getting ready for her last pass.
First 2 tumbling passes have been really, really nice.
Double pike.
Big pass to end with.
Good finish.
Well, you know, the Wolverines are watching this. They have a bye the first rotation.
It's going to be a tough act to follow.
Absolutely.
Illinois setting the bar high.
The junior from Conan High School in Schaumburg, Illinois, Allison Buckley for the Illini.
Looking at the double pike for her last pass. Not easy to do at the end.
That's right. A lot of gymnasts choose to start with that pass, but not Allison.
And showing great landing positions, landing with her head up, chest up, squaring up. The judges are looking for those small details to give away the big score.
She's an all-arounder. 3 adjectives that Bob Starkell uses to describe her: powerful, dynamic, and strong. You saw it all there. And the last competitor on the floor coming up next for the University of Illinois, and she is the anchor, Sarah Schmidt. There you see her.
She's had such a consistent year. She's tied or set her personal best on every event this year.
Be interesting to see the contrast between her and Buckley in terms of the performance. You'll see a much quieter, graceful, more graceful, artistic, as opposed to the more athletic. 2 different styles.
That's the great thing about the floor exercises. Whatever style you have, you can choose music for, choreography for, so it really expresses who you are as a gymnast.
Sarah from Heartland, Wisconsin.
We mentioned Illinois has been strong on the floor, the best in the conference. Anchoring this Illinois team with a nice double pike.
She's had some excellent floor routines ahead of her. She's looking to put up a real big score. Usually the anchor position is looking to be the highest score on that event. Not always, but usually. But I know Sarah's looking for that tonight.
Front double full.
Beautiful.
Nicely.
Legs were together, toes were pointed. Sometimes in twisting skills, the legs tend to cross and girls will get deducted on it, but not Sarah.
She has great form on all of her gymnastics. It's hard to find a deduction on her.
Sarah really has a combination of very difficult, clean tumbling and expressive choreography. Really makes for an excellent routine.
Finishing with a layout. Oh, she stepped out. That was such a great routine, too.
So that's going to cost her a tenth, stepping out of bounds like that. And like we've been saying, all those tenths, half a tenth, they're going to count towards the end score.
She had just a little bit too much power going into that last pass. It was such a great routine, a beautiful pass, just a little too much.
Second pass, front handspring, front double twist. A very, very difficult pass. She does it just flawlessly. Third pass, we'll see here when she just has a little bit too much power. Front layout. Rudy, and just, she tries to save it. She knows right where she is, but it just falls back.
Sarah smiling through it, obviously not all that happy with it, but we'll see what the score is, what the judges will say on a very strong first rotation for the University of Illinois. 5'2" senior from Wisconsin. We're waiting for the judges to come up with the scoring on the last beam routine. There you see some of the Illini crowd. They've made the trip up here. There are a lot of support from all of the teams. All 7 have nice representation here. It's I believe it's spring break on campus, right? So it's a little less crowded than you might think. And of course, the defeat of the basketball team last night. Ohio State had an excellent tournament up until. For Michigan State, this is Nicole Curler. And Nicole from Bay City, Michigan. She is one of the all-arounders for Kathy Kalegas, senior from Bay City, a 4-year competitor. And they say she is in the best shape of her career, and she's putting the scores in to prove it. So Nicole, this is her best. Kathy Kalegas looking on as they're trying to get this straightened out. This is the best event for Michigan State, the beam. And they are very happy with the depth they have. Although what's with the scoring computer that is delaying the event, I'm sure Kathy Kalegas is not all that thrilled.
Yeah, this is a tough position to be in as a gymnast. You're just literally waiting there. You're already nervous. You can see she's sort of pacing, trying to do her usual rituals, but she's a senior, she's a seasoned competitor.
But if there's anybody you would want in this situation, it's Nicole Curler. Let's see how she handles the pressure.
She's gone 9-9-0.
All the other events are finished so far in this rotation. She's just up there by herself, but she's really looking confident, staying focused.
All eyes on her.
She fights for that flight series. She does 2 one-arm back handsprings in a row, followed by a layout step out. A very, very difficult flight series.
A great save, though.
Definitely a great save.
Coming into the beam, ranked 6th in the conference.
Sometimes it can be difficult to recover after a big bobble like that. She came back nicely with a solid switch side. Another leap series here. Switch leg into 2 jumps in a row. She'll get bonus connection for that. Cartwheel, gainer full, nice clean dismount.
Nicole Curler. Too bad they don't give extra points for delay by judge, but that's the way it goes.
Here's this extremely difficult flight series. Back handspring with 1 arm. Look how hard she fights to stay on that beam. That is a competitor for you. Dismount, cartwheel, gainer full, very clean, stuck landing.
All right, that's our last competitor for the first rotation. Second rotation coming up. We'll give that to you in just a minute. Stay tuned. We're live on the Big Ten Network. For over a century, thousands of athletes have competed in the Big Ten Conference. Many are award winners and champions, but only a select few will be called icons. This fall, the Big Ten Network will unveil a remarkable new series that counts down the top athletes in the conference's incredibly rich history. Big Ten Icons, hosted by Keith Jackson, this fall only on the Big Ten Network. Go to BigTenIcons.com for more information. Through the first rotation, remember there are seven teams, 4 events. Rebecca Best, the best vault for the Ohio State Buckeyes with a 9.80. A good start for the Buckeyes, who are trying to make some noise here as they are trailing the rest of the conference season long. A
solid start, but they will have to count a 9.675. Not exactly a score that you do want to count for vault, but they've set themselves up for a good competition.
Iowa on the bars. Now, again, Iowa has been battling to get up the ladder, and Rebecca Simbutis with the 9.85, a good way to start for the Hawkeyes. 9.85
is a great score. We know that Michigan and Illinois and Penn State perhaps could be a little bit higher in those scores, so I guess we'll see with that. Not a bad start for Iowa.
On the beat for Michigan State, led by Rochelle Robinson, the 9.775. She's done better, but certainly, for the first event in the championships, not bad at all.
And they had a solid start. Beam is such a tough event to start on, but they had no falls, staying in the 9.7 range. Not huge scores, but it won't hurt them.
And look at Illinois' floor scores. Allison Buckley leading the Illini.
Allison Buckley's 9.825, a great score. She has scored higher in the past. And I think overall, Illinois has scored a little bit higher on this event, but hopefully as the competition picks up, we'll see some higher scores.
And Melissa Fernandez, even with that step out of bounds, got a 9.8, so you know how good that routine was. All right, the second rotation now. As we told you, there are 7 teams and 4 events, so 4 teams are competing while 3 get buys. Minnesota goes to the vault, Ohio State the bars, Penn State on the beam, and Michigan will be on the floor. You're looking there at Minnesota coach Meg Stevenson. Of course, Meg and Jim have been co-coaches for many, many years, but Meg, this is, well, technically her first year as head coach, but she has been head coach for 13. You got it? And Beverly Plotke, the head coach of Michigan. And look at that career record. Bev in her 21st season. And again, a lot of coaches with longevity in gymnastics. Penn State's Steve Shepard, you see there, 18 seasons after being on campus for 3 seasons as an assistant, a graduate of Southern Illinois University. And there is one of his former gymnasts, Carrie Fagan, who has been the coach now for 6 seasons of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
A lot of great coaches in the Big Ten.
Well, Larissa Libby, we saw earlier from Iowa, she said her byword for the season is adjust. She has had to learn with all the injuries to try to slot people into the lineup she never thought would be. And largely they've responded, but it has been a tough time for the Hawkeyes this season, as it is for the Ohio State Buckeyes, with lots of injuries.
I'm sure Minnesota, Penn State, and Michigan are itching to get out here. The gymnasts stay back and don't watch the competition while they're on their buys, but the coaches stay out, make sure they know what's going on.
First, let's go to the uneven bars. Ohio State in their second event now. And you're looking at Casey Williamson, or you will be looking at, there she is. There's Casey. We saw her on the vault. And she also has been getting into the all-around as a freshman and now as a sophomore.
Trying to knock out a big one in front of the home crowd.
Beautiful first handstand right there. Just like we were talking about, being completely vertical is just critical in this competition. She's doing a great job of that.
Oh!
And speaking of a little too much there, she's probably really trying to go for that handstand, knowing how important it is. Just a little bit too much. Sometimes it's just where your shoulders are over the bar. You can see what happened here. Nice transition to low bar. Comes back up to high. And just a little bit too much. And when you're that far over, you just cannot pull it back.
She was going big. And when a gymnast falls, they have 30 seconds to remount the apparatus.
Bars is an extremely difficult event to remount because it's all about flow, it's all about rhythm. And it's probably the most difficult event to sort of restart because you just mess up that rhythm when you fall off. But here we go.
And it's been the toughest event for the Buckeyes traditionally. They've been last in the conference, and they've been shifting their lineup.
Just her dismount left. And she finishes very strong with a nice double layout.
And that's always tough to come back, especially when your first athlete goes down with a fall. It puts a lot of pressure. Everybody else has to hit.
Well, you see Bill Lorenz, the assistant coach, spotting her, and you know she's disappointed, but you got to keep going. Meredith Yannishanis, another one of the assistants for Ohio State. And Casey not happy, but maybe the other people can pick her up and they won't have to count the score. All right, our first look at the third-ranked Nittany Lions, Madison Merriam. At 5'8", we will see her on the balance beam. Maddie, a freshman, her coach describes as elegant.
She was actually the 2008 7th at the Junior National Championships. So a lot of experience, although a freshman.
All that experience has definitely helped her be in a leading role out on the competition floor just in her freshman year.
While we're waiting, let's check Minnesota on the vault. Here is Kendra Elm. And Kendra's a junior from Plymouth, Minnesota. She's gone 9.875. And now back to the beam for Madison Merriam.
And just as a freshman, she's had to step up already in the last 3 competitions because of injuries to her teammates. Had to step into the all-around. So we will be seeing her in the all-around today.
First athlete up here, first event for Penn State. Back handspring layout, step out, little balance check there, but she recovered. Looks a little wobbly up there right now, probably a little bit of nerves. There's a lot of noise in the arena. The floor music is really loud. But on balance beam, you really have to focus in, sort of put yourself in your own bubble. So leap series, traveling down the beam, switch leap.
And Elise, you talked about the noise. This is something that the athletes have not been used to all year. You have 7 teams competing, 4 events going at one time. Everybody has their school here supporting them. The noise is crazy. The fans are on their feet and loud, but you really have to stay focused and knock out that noise.
That's exactly right. This is the first competition where they've experienced this type of noise, and it really makes a big difference. You're right about that. Dismount. Punch front full in a tuck position, stuck landing.
Madison Merriam, freshman, gets a hug from assistant coach Jess Bastardi.
She ended very strong here in this routine. You can see her feet do not move on that landing. Those are the landings we're looking for in a championship.
Well, Merriam at 5'8" is the tallest Penn State gymnast since you saw Jessica Bastardi, who's the assistant coach, and she was competing for Steve Shepard back in the day, and Steve said, Maddie's the tallest since Jessica. Now, I don't know what that's worth, but just a beautiful, beautiful gymnast. Minnesota, Yuri Nagai.
Another Yurchenko vault. A small pike down with a couple steps on the landing. They will take a 10th for the steps.
Yuri Nagai, a junior from Tennessee, born in Japan. Came over when her dad took a job in the States. And now let's, over on the vault, that's Shannon Golich. And Shannon Golich, who's done a really good job for the Golden Gophers as a freshman.
It's stuck that vault.
Sorry, Eddie. And over to Michigan on the vault. This is our first look on the floor, our first look at the Michigan Wolverines. This is Jordan Sexton from Michigan. Jordan, a senior from North Carolina.
Jordan has some great choreography in this floor routine. I was watching it during the practice session yesterday. It just really stands out. She does it beautifully.
2.5. Nice.
Very beautiful. 2.5 right there. High energy music. Sharp choreography. Second pass right away. Front full to a pike.
Now, at least you've competed at this competition, and to the date, you have the highest all-around score. What is the toughest part about competing in the Big Ten Championship?
Eddie, that is a good question. Probably the pressure that you put on yourself. But I will say that this is one of the most fun competitions all season because you have a huge home crowd cheering you on. And like we talked about, the noise can be a distraction, but it can also elevate your energy so much. It just makes the competition a blast. Jordan really looks like she's soaking all that up, having a great time out there on floor exercise.
Doing just what you said, going out there, having a blast, knocking out a big routine.
And the fourth-year junior from Weddington, North Carolina,
George should be
Jordan
very
Sexton.
happy with that one.
And hugs for her. Let's go over to the beam with freshman. You're looking at Sharia Musser, who was a freshman for the Nittany Lions. You see from Colorado Springs, Colorado. She is working all around at times for Steve Shepard. But here she is on the beam, and where she's gone 9.875.
She's a Big Ten Freshman of the Year nominee. And we should see why right here.
Well, her coach said it was preordained for her to go to Penn State. Both her parents are alumni, and so are her grandparents. There she is, freshman Sharia Musser.
Had an uncle who attended Penn State as well.
Sharia has just been an excellent competitor for Penn State. Little freshman superstar, if you will. She has great potential to carry on through Penn State. Just very confident, very poised.
And if Penn State is going to make some noise in this team championship, the freshman has to come through and come through big, because the depth for Penn State is not all that much.
Talk about confidence up there. She just did a big flight series, one arm back handspring to a layout step out with absolutely no wobbles. Legs were straight. Beautiful.
She's looking very confident, very sure of herself.
You can tell that, Eddie, by her sharp dance, her execution in her hands and her head. All of that really shows her confidence on the beam. Front aerial, again, no wobbles there.
It's a beautiful routine. Dismount.
Switch leap, right into a gainer full.
Wow, that's the way to do your first routine in the championship.
That routine hardly had any balance checks in it at all. We'll see what the judges put up.
Here is Ohio State's Hillary Dow on the uneven bars. We told you about Hillary, normally an all-arounder. She did a 9.7 on the vault. Here she is on the uneven bars.
Huge release move right there. Ginger to her transition to low bar shoot over.
Big stretch to catch that bar.
She sure did. Those long arms help. Those dowels on that grip. Giant full, double back stuck. She should be very pleased.
Nicely done.
Smiling through the pain. You can see she is still walking gingerly, trotting gingerly because of those two bad ankles. Hillary Dow. And here is Minnesota's top all-arounder. She is Alexis Russell, and here is her vault.
She's been fighting a lot of injuries this year. Trying to pull through one more big meet, Big Ten championship.
Beautiful.
With a great vault.
There are a lot of Yurchenko fulls in the competition, so you really have to narrow it down to the landings and execution in the twists. Those are the ones that are going to stand out.
Mike Stevenson and the Golden Gophers enjoying that from Alexis Russell, who was a competitor for the all-around championship. Now on the floor for Michigan, another freshman, Natalie Bilstein. And Natalie from Butler, Pennsylvania, which is also the home of Coach Bev Plotke right there. And matter of fact, Natalie's club coach was Beverly's high school coach. So all in the Pennsylvania family.
And this is a really fun routine. She's going to start out with one of the biggest passes you will see today in this competition. It's an Arabian double front, blind landing, and here it is. Perfect.
Wow. You don't see that too often in collegiate gymnastics. That's an elite skill right there.
Getting a little funky for the crowd.
Bev Blocky says she has been dominant on floor, improved dramatically through the season, and loves the big meets.
Most of the gymnasts tonight will have 10-0 start values, so she may not have needed necessarily to do that big first pass, but it really stands out in the judges' eyes, especially when she does it so well. Beautiful second pass.
A front double full to a punch layout.
Just a routine packed full of difficulty so far. This is what's going to make the difference between the champions.
Of course, after her, we'll also see Kylie Botterman, who is the All-American here.
She just makes all that tumbling look so easy, doesn't she?
Trying to bring it home right here, finishing with a double pike.
Confidence.
Double pike.
Beautiful.
What a huge routine.
Nice landing, feet were together. That's going to put up a big score for Michigan.
And talking to Natalie before the meet, she said today she's bringing her swag.
Sure did. She's gone 9-9.
She sure did with this floor routine.
Check that out. Look above the scoreboard. She tumbles so incredibly high.
Well, you see the energy, and take a look at the rest of the Wolverines. Oh, yes.
Captain Trish Wilson jumping up and down.
Here is Brandy Personette. We talked about her at the beginning of the program, and you will enjoy watching her. She is probably, well, certainly by reputation and record, the best all-around gymnast here in the Big Ten, and arguably one of the best in the country. She is ranked #1 on every single event, all except for the bars. But here she is on the beam for Penn State.
She's been the Big Ten Gymnast of the Week 5 times this year. She's an exciting gymnast to watch. Made some big guarantees at the beginning of the season, said Penn State will win the Big Ten championship.
Last year's Gymnast of the Year, Brandy Personette.
Setting up for her flight series. And there's that 3 series in a row with a 1-arm back handspring in there. Doing a 1-arm back handspring, let me point out, is so difficult on the balance beam. Beautiful front flip directly to a jump. She had a little balance check there on her flight series, which I know Brandy does not like. She did those flawlessly in warm-up and practice yesterday, but she recovered it nicely.
What I love about Brandy is all of her gymnastics is big. She never holds back.
Becoming the Big Ten champion is all about being perfect on that day. So she needs to make up for that wobble right here, which she did in that big jump right there. And stuck landing. She's going for it. Nice routine from Brandy.
You know, I think Penn State stuck every single landing in that opening rotation. You can't ask for much more than that.
Steve Shepard, coach, and we'll show you the little bobble here for Brandy.
Check out that 1-arm back handspring. And you can tell how seasoned a competitor she is because she knew just where she was and pulled it back. Dismount, cartwheel, gainer full. Watch this stuck landing. Her feet do not move.
On point.
What'll it cost her, you think, that bobble?
10th and a half would be my guess.
Now to the floor, All-American Kylie Botterman. Her 2 sisters went to Illinois, but she decided she's going to be her own person and go to Michigan, for which Beverly Plocky is extremely gratified.
Another exciting routine to watch. Hard act to follow after Natalie Bilstein. Opening with a full twisting double pike. Look at that. Wow. So clean.
And talk about individual expression with the choreography and the dance. Kylie really knows how to do it. You just can't take your eyes off her when she's out there.
Brandy Personette, a 9.875 for her beam routine.
She's going for her front full, punch front pike.
No deduction there. You can see her expression. Her head is up, her eyes are up. Such sharpness in her choreography and such dynamic tumbling, clean tumbling.
And I love this part of the routine. Working in a little bit of the robot, a little
Very
ninja
nice.
Fancy. And finishing with a double pike. Excuse me, a double tuck. Big routine. You can hear the applaud from the Michigan fans. Another huge routine for Michigan.
Huge routine.
Three-time All-American Kylie Botterman, a 9.90. That finishes the rotation on a high for Michigan. We'll be back. As we get set for the third rotation, we remind you, don't miss the biggest conference event of the year. Watch teams compete for individual and team titles. The Big Ten Men's Gymnastics Championship beginning next Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern, live from right back here at St. John Arena. Covered in HD, coverage in HD only on the Big Ten Network. And we were in St. John Arena for the Women's Championships today. We are live. And the second rotation went this way. Minnesota on the vault, Lucy Ennis. Good job for her. A bit of a surprise, a 9.8.
Yeah, there's quite a big score from Lucy Ennis. And Alexis Russell following her with a nice stuck landing. Minnesota solid on the vault.
And on the uneven bars, Rebecca Best, the All-American, doing well for the Buckeyes.
Pretty good on the uneven bars. Rebecca Best, as we said, 9.8, very good score. You'll have to count one of those 9.6s, though, that might hurt them in the end.
Now, on the beam, Penn State looking to compete for the championship. The freshman really led the charge.
9.9 on the balance beam. Excellent, excellent score. This will be a big team score right here for Penn State. Excellent first event for them.
Now, on the floor, you usually get the higher scores on the floor. Take a look at what Michigan did.
3 9.9. Sarah Curtis, Natalie Bilstein, Kylie Botterman coming in with 3 huge routines, getting Michigan off to a great start.
Now, again, remember, only 4 teams on any one rotation. The other 3 have byes. And after 2 rotations, and again, the discrepancy here is Ohio State has been on 2 straight rotations. Everybody else has been on 1. So you really can't tell too much from this, except that 49.3 for Michigan and 49.025 for Penn State. It's still mixing apples and oranges, the floor against the beam.
Still 2 big starts for Michigan and Penn State, 2 of the front runners to win this Big Ten championship. Let's see if they can capitalize on those scores.
Once each gymnast has completed her 2
All right, this is Iowa. Take a look. And Linus Gaveka, who competed for the Iowa men's team, and the assistant coach here, the Larissa Libby, as the Hawkeyes are warming up for their turn on the beam. And Meg Stevenson, her team will be on the uneven bars. Michigan State and Kathy Klage's team will be on the floor. And Illinois and Bob Starkell will have the Illini on the vault, where they need to score big. A little disappointing for Illinois in their first routine on the floor. So we are set for rotation number 3. There will be 7, of course, and each team competing in the 4 different events. Bob Starkell adding the new job this year as Director of Gymnastics for the Illini. And he has really done a fine job these last few years.
A great job.
As Illinois has really built up to the top of the Big Ten ladder.
They've been contenders for the past few years.
Well, Bob's first years were 6th or 7th place finishes. And now 3rd, 2nd, and 2nd the last 3 years. And here's one of his stars, Nicole Cowart. She hurt her ankle a little bit late in the season, but she says she's fine. They call her Suki from Greenwood, Indiana, and here she is on the vault. She's number 11 in the Big Ten. Here she goes.
Another Yushenko entry with a half, the blind landing we saw before. Performed well.
Performed very well. Her legs were glued together. The judges will notice that. She will get deducted for the landing. As Eddie said, that blind landing is very difficult. Not really sure when the mat's going to hit. Just a slight hop to the side.
A 10th in deduction.
She finished 9th at the championships a year ago as a junior. And there's Suki Nicole Coward for Illinois.
Illinois trying to build off their floor score. Had a little bit of a tough start.
Well, there's not a lot of room to breathe when you got Michigan and Penn State on your back. There's the Illini Nation.
But the Illini are a strong vault team, trying to do what they did last year at the Big Ten Championships. Actually won the vault competition, nailing vaults. Trying to duplicate it here today.
Jackie Kontecki. Jacqueline for Illinois. She is a business major and a White Sox fan, we might add. From Bridgeview, Illinois, a freshman.
Kind of an interesting fact, she's terrified of trampolines.
Kind of funny for a gymnast, huh? Wow, huge Yurchenko full.
She's not terrified of that vault.
Check out the height and the distance that she gets on this vault. As I said before, a lot of competitors are doing this exact vault, but this one especially stands out. That was huge.
Opened it up a little early, flared it out. Great vault.
This is Jessa Hansen, young all-arounder for Larissa Libby's Iowa Hawkeyes, sophomore from Clive, Iowa, majoring in journalism, mass communications, and she trained along with Sean Johnson at the same gym outside of Des Moines. What do you say to that, Elise?
That's something, isn't it?
There you go. Under the same
fill,
roof.
I suppose.
Not for Dancing with the Stars.
We'll leave that to you.
Starts off with a solid leap combination. Again, those leap combinations are just as important as the big acrobatic skills because they lead you up to your 10-0 start value. Flight series, back handspring layout, step out, beautiful.
She's a nominee for the Sportswoman of the Year.
Big front flip. Those front flips are especially hard on the balance beam because let's remember it's only 4 inches wide. And any little bit of crookedness going into that flip will really throw you, but that was beautifully done. She has a very sharp dance up there, very beautiful dance.
Fighting.
Fighting. Dismount left. Cartwheel gainer full. Good routine.
Nicely done. Jessa Hansen, the sophomore from Iowa. Just one little check here, and we'll see it.
She pulls it right back, though. She knew right where she was. You could see her feet and her toes just fighting to hang on that beam. Great recovery.
Back to the vault for Illinois. This is Kelsey Joannidis. She won this event a year ago as a freshman.
Another Yurchenko full. And a small hop.
Just a baby hop right there. That'll be maybe a half a tenth.
Well, that's part of the strong vault team for Illinois. And here's Sarah Schmidt. Sarah with the 9.725 on the floor, which you know she's not happy about. On the vault, she's gone 9.85. Second team All-America on the floor. Here she is on the vault.
Have to remember that that little tenth of the out of bounds could have made that score a 9.825. So she's probably looking to gain back that 10th on the other events here tonight.
Of course, she run the floor as a junior.
Was just elected to the first team All Big Ten. Wow. A big vault, great block off the horse. She does have to take a 10th hop. Actually performing that vault on an 8-inch mat, which we haven't seen yet, which makes the landing a little bit softer, but it's a little bit higher.
And also can be a little bit bouncier. So you can tell she just sort of rebounds up off that landing.
There's Sarah. And here's Rebecca Sambudis on the beam for Iowa. You see her bars score, 9.850. Very good for the Hawkeyes.
Very great score for Rebecca on her first event. Looking to keep that up here on the beam.
Iowa's having a good meet so far.
Front aerial, directly connected to what was called a splash down or a back handspring swing down. A lot of people kind of cringe at that skill, but it's not as bad as it looks.
I wouldn't try it.
Probably not a good idea for you to try, Eddie.
And Rebecca loves the music.
So far, looking great.
There's a side flip right there. She has a lot of big skills in this routine. Just performing them beautifully, confidently. Looking very solid so far. Another gainer full dismount. We see a lot of those tonight. As I said before, the differentiate is going to be the landings, and Rebecca stuck that.
Good routine for junior Rebecca Sambudis. Here's Melissa Fernandez for Illinois. She is on the vault.
She's a reigning Big Ten champion.
And moments ago.
Great landing.
Wow, stuck that landing.
She limps off here. She's hurt. And there's something definitely wrong.
Boy, she braved it through the landing, but there's certainly a problem.
Not really sure when it happened on the vault. Maybe the landing right here. Looks like maybe she could have landed just a little short.
Looks like she jammed that ankle a little bit.
Let's go to the uneven bars, Minnesota. This is Kristen Furukawa.
What I love about Kristen is her toe point and her leg extension. Her lines on this event are beautiful.
Just a little short on the handstand.
She's one of the captains for Minnesota from Southern California.
Dismount left.
Double layout.
Double layout, just small step back on the dismount.
Minnesota rocking out some bar routines.
Kristen Furukawa, junior from Pomona.
See how she's gearing up here and her picking up speed in her giants. 2 flips in a stretch position.
Allison Buckley of Illinois on the vault. We will try to find out the situation regarding Sarah Schmidt, this senior who seems to be in pain, very much in pain when she finished her vault.
Another gymnast performing on the 8-inch mat, a little bit softer.
Huge, huge vault. It's one of those vaults that definitely stands out.
It's a big vault, but has to take that step, and I'm wondering if that's because of the 8-inch mat.
Well, Buckley needs some points for Illinois. The Illini are a little shaky to start here on their first 2 rotations. Over to the uneven bars. All around to Alexis Russell for Minnesota.
A Big Ten Gymnast of the Year nominee.
Majoring both in political science and communications. Wants to head out to our nation's capital, do an internship on the Hill. And she certainly can probably, you know, do her floor routine down Pennsylvania Avenue if need be.
I've seen Alexis compete a couple times this year, and it really has been a pleasure. She is just a beautiful competitor, a really fierce competitor. And this bar routine, let me tell you, is something else, packed full of difficulty. She's a big Shaposhnikova as her mount, transitioning from low to high, very difficult skill. Right into a pack salto, backflip, back down to the low bar. There's a hold back here on the difficulty.
What I love about her gymnastics, long, clean lines.
Absolutely, you can see that right there in that double layout.
She finished 3rd in the championships a year ago. Good effort from senior Alexis Russell.
You can see here those lines that Eddie was talking about. Nice position, just a little hop.
So the 3rd rotation drawing to a close as the Gophers, Iowa and Ohio State looking strong. Here are a couple of coaches who know each other pretty well, and during a bye they watch the rest of the teams in action. That's Steve Shepard and, as we said, Kerry Fagan, who was a gymnast for Penn State, and Steve back in the 90s. And they're taking a look now at Nicole Curler for Michigan State. She is on the floor, 9-7 on the beam, as we showed you. Top all-arounder.
We talked about injuries before. She's been plagued with injuries her freshman, sophomore, junior year. And finally, her senior year has found some health and is back in the all-around.
What a great time in her senior year.
She already has the best all-around score in the Spartans' history, and she's in the all-around today.
Beautiful double pike right there for her first pass.
Again, says she's in the best shape of her life.
This event must feel great to compete after the balance beam. Good clean second pass as well, looking good.
Very expressive gymnast.
The music change there with a dramatic effect. She says one more pass to go, gearing up here for her third tumbling pass. First and second went very well. Front handspring Rudy, 1.5 twist directly to a Shushinova. It's another skill, doesn't look so bad. As it feels, doesn't hurt when you hit that floor. Nice routine.
A good routine for Nicole Curler.
There's the coach, Kathy Kay, giving it the go-go.
Here's her third tumbling pass right here. Front handspring, 1.5 twist directly into that Shushinova where she lands on her stomach. See, she's smiling, doesn't hurt.
And Kathy Klages, yes, didn't hurt her either, and she liked it quite a bit.
Give him the fist pump.
On the beam we will go, and we will get another look at the Hawkeyes. This is Hori Gabizian. Again, an all-arounder, and her major, by the way, integrative physiology, which, you know, Eddie and I also specialize in, as does Elise, once we figure out what it is.
Huge mount there. A lot of gymnasts choose to do a simple mount to get on the beam, kind of mount the beam confidently, but she does not hold back. Big front flip. She landed it flawlessly.
Won't see a lot of people do that in this competition.
Flight series, again, no wobbles there.
Wow.
She chose to do a back handspring and landed with 2 feet directly into the layout step out. Just changes the dynamic of the flight series.
You know, this is not a particularly strong event for Iowa, but they are doing very well today. They've hit everything we've seen.
Well, they're giving away nothing and taking everything right now.
That's right. Even if the difficulty isn't there, which I think she'll prove me wrong right here. If you're clean and without wobbles, it can really help.
Big dismount.
I was.
Wow.
Round off, double tuck dismount.
Oh my.
And you can see why she is so excited. Not a lot of gymnasts choose to do that difficult of a dismount in college competition.
Look at the excitement from the Iowa bench.
Well, if you know what this team has gone through, you can understand it. Here's the mount.
You gotta love it.
She mounts and dismounts with 2 huge skills. Let's look at this right here. Round off, punches the beam, 2 flips in a row. Watch the team behind her. Yes, and she deserves all that excitement.
That's the best routine I've seen of the day thus far.
And I think that's about the happiest I've seen Iowa all season long. Back to the floor. Here is quite an exciting package. Emily Lopatowski for Michigan State. Emily, the most dynamic tumbler that Kathy Klages has in her roster, as she says. Very small, very powerful.
And here's that power. Double pike, has performed a double layout before.
She's very excited about what's going on. Of course, last year here on this floor, she ruptured her Achilles tendon. So she's not thinking about that right now.
trying to redeem herself.
She certainly is. Nice, clean second pass, front full directly to a front tuck.
So far, so good.
She's in the anchor position for Michigan State, so she's looking to put up a big score for them. Just one more pass to go, stepping into the corner. Third pass right here.
She should be finishing with a double tuck. Big double tuck.
Nice landing as well. She didn't even have to lunge back out of that.
Scoring a 9.850.
Emily Lepetowski of Michigan State. That gets us through the third rotation. Much more coming back live. Stay tuned. Women's gymnastics on the Big Ten Network. Back at Ohio State, hey, Big Ten fans, now you can get free programming alerts on your mobile phone. Be the first to know when your favorite coaches and players will appear on the Big Ten Network. Just text alerts to 20284 or log on to BigTenNetwork.com/alerts. Message and data rates may apply. The results from the third rotation, very, very interesting. Illinois on the vault with a couple of strong efforts from Fernandez and Buckley, the two All-Americans.
They are leading the way right now for Illinois, making a big comeback after a little shaky start on the floor.
That's right, two 9.85s, very impressive. And those two contenders are for the all-around competition, so that's really going to help them with that.
And as we move along on the uneven bars, where Minnesota had Alexis Russell put up a 9.85.
These are great scores for the Gophers. 9.85 by Russell. We can see why with that impressive bar routine.
And take a look at the beam. Iowa, Ori Gabishin, this is the best score since Elise put up the same score in 9.95. And that was back 5 years ago. Take a look. The mount alone is worth the 9.95.
It's a spectacular routine. To be honest with you, I don't even know where they found that half-tenth deduction. It was perfect in my book.
I'm with you, Eddie. This routine was so impressive. And this right here is the cherry on the cake. This dismount is so difficult off the balance beam, and she knew right when to land that.
And certainly a career best for her.
Getting the stick.
She deserved everything she deserved in that routine.
And you see her
going crazy in the back.
So
totally
impressed.
nuts. And on the floor, Michigan State with a performance on the floor. And Lepetowski and Nicole Curler both with 9.85s.
And what a way to come back for Lepetowski after tearing her Achilles on this same floor. And Nicole Curler coming back from a lot of injuries herself, scoring a 9.85.
Okay, so we are through 4 rotations here, and the story begins to build. You know, Illinois seems to be a bit shaky. Let's take a look at the team results after 3. Illinois again in second place, Iowa leading. And again, not every team has been through 2 rotations. So the Michigan score, which is very strong, we'll see more. Same thing, Penn State with the 49.025. And meanwhile, there is Carrie Fagan, the home team coach, with her charges. Her 2 redheads right there, Colleen Dean and Taylor Jones, who was the freshman of the year last year, and Colleen is a freshman this year. Word on for Illinois, Fernandez is out. She injured that ankle doing her vault, and she will be through for the afternoon.
And that is a big loss to Illinois, performing that vault, and just it looked like a great landing, and something went completely wrong. I've been there, done the same thing last year, and took myself completely out of the competition.
The Penn State rooting section, and there's somebody, I don't know if that's his natural shade, but there you go. And here is freshman of the year from a year ago, Taylor Jones. On the beam. Taylor Jones, a sophomore from Edmond, Oklahoma.
Taylor now a sophomore. She has 1 year of competition under her belt, so this is now her second Big Ten championship. That always feels nice. You know a little bit more what to expect. She is such an asset to this team. Good fight there.
Holding on.
That was a big flight series. She does a layout. That second skill and lands with 2 feet. It adds difficulty to it. Beautiful front flip, directly connected into a small beat jump. She gets connecting bonus for that skill right there. As mentioned before, Taylor has struggled some with some back injury. You know, and back is something that is used on every single event, especially balance beam. She is poised up there, you never know. Nice beam routine from Taylor Jones. Good start for Ohio State.
Seen a lot of stuck landings today.
They had taken her off the beam because of the injuries. It's only recently that she is competing on the balance beam again.
Here's that flight series where she lands with 2 feet. You can see one of her feet were actually turned slightly off the beam, but she pulled it back.
Taylor Jones for Ohio State. And the Buckeyes enjoy the home cooking. They're having a good meet as well. Katie Zerales for Michigan on the vault. Katie, a freshman from Wheaton, Illinois, went to Wheaton Warrenville South High School.
Look at the intensity.
That's right, she is fired up for this event.
Strong approach. Great vault. Pulls into Yurchenko full.
She's pretty taped up herself. This is not an easy event on the body. There's an extra sting mat there for the landing.
Fighting through her injuries to ankles, hips, shoulders. And there she is.
Has been through it all.
A lot of the girls have. And a look at Nicole Crowder. Nicole is a sophomore, talking to Meredith Yannishanis, who is expecting, as you can tell, in May. Meredith, the assistant coach to Carrie Fagan. And here's Nicole, sophomore from Carmel, Indiana, coming back from an ankle injury. And second to go, Taylor Jones, whom we just saw, 9.65 for her beam routine.
Pass handstand.
Starts off with a nice leap combination. 3 elements in a row. Big jump right there. She does a split 3/4. You can tell she lands facing away from the beam, which is very difficult to do. Gymnasts like to keep their eye on that beam the whole time. Setting up here for a flight series. 1 arm back handspring, layout, step out. We're seeing a lot of great saves tonight.
Another good fight.
These girls know how important each 10th is in this competition. So even if they get 2 off, at least it's not 5 for the fall. Beautiful front aerial right there.
Crowder, the best at this event for Ohio State the last 2 years.
Nice dismount right there. She does a standing gainer, which is a little bit more difficult than adding an element before it. Stuck landing. Here's her little balance check here. 1 arm back handspring. Again, very difficult. 1 leg comes up, but she knows right how to pull it back. Squares out those hips.
Sophomore Nicole Crowder from Ohio State. Brittany Martinez, our first look at her for Michigan. Here she is on the ball.
Freshman from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Yurchenko full. Performed well. Small little step on the landing.
Very small. That was a very nice vault by Brittany.
She is competing all around today for Michigan. And she's 10th in the conference on vault. And here again, let's go back just moments ago. Here's Sarah Curtis.
Trying to top off Martinez's vault.
Sarah's so great on this event. Wow.
Getting the stick.
Oh, that'll work.
That's it.
The triple fist pump.
That's what you are looking for in a Big Ten competition right here. Beautiful execution. Watch this landing.
Senior
there you
leader.
go. That's right.
Well, the fourth-year junior, Sarah Curtis, getting some cheers and certainly deserved. There's the Michigan bench.
Looking on intently.
Yeah. They know they're in a battle today, but they're certainly not giving anything away.
Not at all. It's going to be a dogfight right up until the last routine. You can count on it.
As we move along, take a look now on the vault. Natalie Bilstein. And the freshman.
Again, was elected to second team Big Ten. And I just have to say, I'm not sure how she's not on the first team. She's an amazing gymnast. Check out this vault. You shake a 1.5. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that'll work. That'll work too.
She backed me up.
Wow.
That was huge.
As we were talking about before, just adding that half twist it really increases the difficulty. It changes the landing to a blind landing.
This vault coming right into your living room. 1.5.
Watch those feet.
Stick.
Yep, don't move. And they know it's good.
Well, a couple of Michigan vaulters have put up perfect 10s on this event, as has Katie Rowland from Penn State. Maybe a little early for that, but quite an effort from the freshman.
Wow.
Allison Buckley with Melissa Fernandez now out of the competition. That's a big loss for Illinois and even more pressure on the leaders like Allison Buckley.
That is an extremely big loss for them. And it really changes the dynamic of the whole team now, because they're going to have an alternate step in for her position. So we'll see how it affects them.
And there's Melissa. You can see the crutches nearby.
There's a true teammate right there. I can't imagine how hard that would be to be pulled out of the competition.
Such a tough position to be in. We can only pray that she's going to be okay.
Good first release move.
Nice pack salto.
Second big release right there.
Transitioning to the high bar. Nice job about going for the handstands.
Front dismount.
Wow.
Wow.
A great routine.
That front dismount right there.
You can hear her excitement.
She's excited. It's very difficult to stick.
Nice close-ups on the dismount here. Watch it.
Stick.
And Allison Buckley from suburban Chicago. Madison Merriam for Penn State. Her floor routine. The freshman.
Her season high is a 9.825. Coming in ranked 10th on the floor in the Big Ten. One handspring Rudy to lay out step out.
That layout step out at the end of her 1.5 twist isn't necessarily difficult, but it really adds a nice artistic flair to the pass. We haven't seen that yet tonight, which is nice.
What are the advantages or disadvantages of the height in gymnastics, especially here on the floor? She's such a tall, elegant gymnast, but is it a disadvantage for her?
Well, that's one of the beautiful things about her, is that she's so tall, her lines are that much longer. She has a nice, clean look to her, and the judges really like that.
It can be more difficult. You have more inches, I suppose, to get around in the air and flip around and spin around, but she really carries herself beautifully, and like you were saying, Eddie, her lines just make her stand out as a gymnast. You always want to set yourself apart being a gymnast, especially amongst so much great competition.
Trying to bring one home. This running with the Rudy. A nice, clean routine.
Beautiful flexibility.
And Penn State will count it.
Madison Merriam from Gaithersburg, Maryland. On the uneven bars, Nicole Coward for Illinois. Suki up there, the senior from Greenwood, Indiana.
That was a Strata back you saw. Transition from the high bar to the low bar. Oh, she's fighting the handstand.
We saw that earlier. Went right over, but that was a really, really big fight.
She really is attacking this routine just a little too much. A great dismount.
Yeah, excellent landing.
It's unfortunate that she had that break in her handstand.
Nicole Coward. And again, we go back to the Illinois bench. There's Melissa Fernandez.
Here we take a look at that cast handstand. Just going for every 10th and just went a little too much.
Great fight, though.
The freshman, Sharia Musser. The second of the three freshmen who are competing for Penn State. Musser, excellent job on the beam with the 9.9. On the floor, she's gone 9.825.
She was Big Ten Freshman of the Week twice this year.
And no nerves, apparently.
Great under pressure. She was second in the all-around at the 2008 and 2009 Junior National Championships.
She's coming off a great beam routine so far in this competition, trying to keep her rhythm with that.
And she is also going to perform the same pass that we saw from Natalie Bilstein in Michigan earlier. An Arabian double front, 2 flips forward, blind landing. Here it goes.
Nice.
Well done.
You can see her coach was standing there in the corner. Sometimes the gymnast likes to spot something at the end of the corner to know when to come out of that flip. Very powerful tumbler.
Miriam, a 9.85 for Penn State on her floor routine. And Nicole Coward fighting hard, 9.55 on the uneven bars for Illinois.
Dynamic floor music here to go with her dynamic tumbling.
Has really taken on this role as a freshman well. Stepping in for injured teammates, coming in as the all-rounder in the last 3 competitions.
Last pass coming right here.
Got her hands for double pike.
Nice.
Another solid routine for Penn State.
That should be a nice score for Penn State.
And the Arabian double tuck, again, a blind landing.
Such a difficult pass, although she makes it look so easy.
Well, she's having her meet Sharia Musser, freshman from Penn State. And here is Kylie Botterman, Michigan, on the vault.
The senior leader. What I love about that vault is she opens up, flares it out, tries to show off the vault a little bit.
That's right. We see a lot of competitors kind of pike down that vault a little bit, but she is really in a beautiful extended position.
And Sarah Schmidt moments ago on the uneven bars for Illinois.
Sarah's artistry is really shown here too on the uneven bars. Her lines, her toe point, her execution, and her pirouettes. Piked Jaeger.
Oh, and she, you know what, I think she missed that handstand, had to do a pirouette out.
I think you're right. She really stayed clean. Yeah, you could hardly notice.
And Illinois is struggling here. With double tuck, a great finish.
For Sarah Schmidt here on the floor, Brandy Personette, the 2-time all-around champion, and she's won this event a couple of times.
This is one of Brandy's best events. Let's see why right there in her opening pass. Double layout. We have not seen that yet tonight.
It's a big pass. Number 1 in the Big Ten on this event. Number 4 in the country.
A little shaky for her on the beam, but here she is on floor where she likes to own the event.
She is an All-American. Placing 4th at the NCAA Championships last year. And incredibly has had 10 titles already this season.
The second pass, she went front full directly into a front layout. Did a pretty little arabesque out of that front tumbling run, which is nice. It's a little artistic flair there. One more pass to go.
Double pike. Great height. Penn State having a great floor performance.
That will be a big score.
Brandy Personette.
The only one we've seen tonight so far. Double layout, 2 flips, stretched position. She just flies through that air. Great landing.
Finishing with the double pike. Great amplitude.
And she's looking for that 3rd all-around championship, and of course that's 2nd to a team championship. The 1st for Penn State if they can get it. And Rebecca Best talking to her assistant coach before she goes up on the beam. Rebecca Best, 13th ranked in the conference, has gone 9.85. And like most of the other gymnasts fighting consistent injuries.
Flight series right here, handspring layout, step out. She's so fluid on this event. She just keeps moving up and down that beam like she's walking on the floor, even though it's only 4 inches wide. There's her leap combination, switch leap directly into a leap.
Brandy Personette's score, 9.95. That'll get you somewhere.
Beautiful front flip just done there by Rebecca Best. Full turn, keeps moving on down that beam. Like I said, really fluid up there, confident. Very impressive dismount right there. Anytime you add elements to your actual dismount, it's just very impressive, and she sticks that landing.
A great routine.
And Ohio State continues to improve. From an injury-plagued season, they seem to be hitting a stride here at home.
There's her dismount. 1, 2 elements, 1.5 twists, stuck.
Junior Rebecca Best. All right, through another rotation, more to come. Competition heats up. We'll be back. Stay tuned. We're live on the Big Ten Network. And we welcome you back to St. John Arena. The vault results from Michigan. Natalie Bielstein, 9.9 for the freshman, Eddie.
What a great vault. And I quite frankly, I don't know where they found the 10th from. It was a huge vault, stuck at 1.5. One of the few to do it in the competition. It was beautiful.
That's the way to break in as a freshman. On the uneven bars, Allison Buckley doing well. But again, they had to juggle the lineup because of the injury to Melissa Fernandez. And they had a couple of low scores that they have to count.
They did. They struggled, and they will have to count a 9.55 and a 9.525. They're hoping not to have to do that, but it seems like the injury to Fernandez has affected them.
And Rebecca Best leading Ohio State on the beam as she has for so much of this season.
Rebecca Best showing her best, leading the way for her team.
And the big news on the floor, Brandy Personette with that 9.95, second best score in the history of this competition. A lot of people have gone 9.95, and some, including Elise Ray, 9.75. And let's take a look at Bielstein's vault here. Again, the freshman, her first Big Ten championship. Watch this.
We do not see many of these in the competition.
Going after it.
And not many landings like that either.
I'm not sure where the 10th deduction came from.
I'm not sure either.
Well, that's for being a freshman, you know, probably.
The freshman 10th.
That's the scene here on the big scoreboard at St. John Arena. The crowd is here enjoying live Big Ten Women's Gymnastics, the championship tournament. I'm Mike Liederman along with Eddie Humphrey, Elise Ray, and we hope you're enjoying this because it's quite a showcase for the teams as they get ready for regionals and then for the nationals, which will be held this year in nice, toasty Gainesville, Florida. And let's see, last night they named the Big Ten first team all-conference team, and some familiar names we already see from our competition today on it, including the freshman Musser from Penn State, Sarah Schmidt from Illinois, Simbutis of Iowa, of course Kylie Botterman from Michigan, along with Sarah Curtis. And Sarah Curtis, who doesn't get a lot of the credit that a lot of the other Michigan gymnasts do, boy, she has been recognized. And there's your second team, including Bielstein from Michigan, the freshman, Gabijan from Iowa, along with Jessa Hansen, Knutson from the Wolverines, and Kelly Morley, Rochelle Robinson from Michigan State, and Natalie Edel, who we'll see on the uneven bars later in the broadcast. Of course, these awards were announced last night at the Big Ten Conference Women's Gymnastics Banquet, which was a lovely black tie affair, or gold tie, depending. And Wendy Wilkinson from the Big Ten handing out the awards, and everybody got to watch themselves on some of the instant replays and have a great old time. It's a lovely event. And I know, Elise, you love to get dressed up in heels after your legs are killing you from all the gymnastics, right?
It is a funny arena to see everybody in a dress rather than a leotard, but it's a nice chance for the gymnasts to sort of say hello to each other and chat outside of the arena.
And there was haircut of the day. We just saw it. Fantastic. All right. We are coming up to the fifth rotation. Michigan State will be on the vault, and Michigan on the uneven bars, Minnesota on the beam, and the Iowa Hawkeyes will have their turn on the floor. Meg Stevenson talking about the Gophers, and the Gophers have been going well. Now again, the skew, because not all teams have completed the same number of events. Illinois, Ohio State at the top, but they've gone once more than Michigan and Penn State. And you're looking at Iowa, Michigan State, Minnesota. They all have strong scores for these teams that are looking to break onto the winning podium.
Well, this is an incredible race. You look at Illinois, Ohio State, who have done more events than everybody, are tied. And you look at Michigan, Penn State, are tied. So it's gonna be tight here. It's getting crazy.
Kelsey Knutson here for Michigan. Their turn on the uneven bars from Ames, Iowa. Limited by knee surgeries to the bars and the beam. They use her on the bars as a consistent leadoff presence. Try to set the table while she'll anchor on the beam.
That's a new combination for her. Stalder blind change to immediate Jaeger.
What a competition to throw a new combination. This routine is outstanding. She does some Stalder work, which is where you do not put your feet on the bar, but you still circle around. It's very difficult, very impressive.
She's had knee problems here.
Good effort. Coach Scott Sherman gives her the applause for Kelsey Knutson, the senior from Ames, Iowa.
This nice combination right here, giant full. You can see her beautiful execution right to a double back dismount. Just slightly short.
Seems happy with the routine.
Minnesota's on the beam this rotation. This is Amber Hammerschmidt for the Golden Gophers. Amber, sophomore from Rosemount, Minnesota. Kinesiology major who spent her freshman year at Arizona State, then transferred to the more temperate climes. No doubt.
Loves the snow.
Well, Meg Stevenson describes Amber as somebody having what she calls the Minnesota look. And long, tall, elegant. And right now, Meg has got an issue with the judges. So while they solve their problems, let's go to look at Maureen Moody, who is a specialist on the uneven bars, who finished second here at the championships a year ago on this event. Very quiet, very hard-working from East Lansing. And you see Beverly Plocky nervously looking at the scoreboard and then looking at Maureen. A very difficult season for her, but here she is looking for redemption in the championships. Maureen Moody, a senior.
She's going to be performing a very unique release called a Horkina. You don't see it performed by many gymnasts. She has had some problems with it. Let's see if she executes that today.
Well, it seems like we're having scoring issues all the way around today, so see the cameras from the Michigan side ready to record her. But right now the judges are not letting her go. So we'll see what that's all about.
The judges are holding up the meat a little bit here. Leave it to the judge, right?
Well, they can do it. We can't do it without the judges. Michigan sending a large contingent here to Columbus. Everybody, there's the Spartans group. A lot of friends and family, and the Ohio State Buckeyes there. And here we go. Maureen Moody for the Wolverines.
Starting with a blind change. And here's that release I was talking about.
No problems with it today.
She's got it. Hitting those handstands. We're going to see a full twisting double back. Right here. Stuck it.
Wow. She had great height off that high bar. I had a feeling she was going to stick it. The higher you are off the bar, the more time you have to see the floor as you're coming down to it to stick the landing. Here's that very interesting release.
Called the Horkina.
Beautiful execution on it.
To a straddle back handstand.
And there's Maureen Moody. She's gone 9-9 in the past, and a wonderful routine for her. Shanti Taiki from Michigan State, again freshman from Columbus, Indiana. Here's her ball.
Another Yurchenko full. Seeing a lot of gymnasts really lock down the landings on this vault today.
You're going to be seeing a lot of her in the coming years. Kathy Clegg is very high on her efforts. Calls her a gamer.
Great efforts today.
All right, now we're back on the beam in more ways than one. This is Amber Hammerschmidt moments ago for Minnesota. Here's the sophomore transfer from Arizona State.
Amber is beautiful on the balance beam. She has beautiful hands, beautiful expression. There's a chance on beam here also to have a little bit of individual expression in the choreography between the elements.
Another gymnast with nice long, sleek lines.
Two back handsprings to a layout step out. She had a little bit of a knee bend there in her layout step out. The judges will take a little bit from her on that. And that jump right there is actually a very difficult jump because she throws her head back, loses sight of the beam. As you can see, she had a little bit of a wobble there on the landing.
Penn State, by the way, with a bye this rotation, will finish up on the vault and later on the uneven bars. Two very strong events for the Nittany Lions, who seem to be making a charge tonight. And again, it's hard to tell with all the different competitions going on simultaneously.
Cartwheel back 1.5 twist off the end of the beam for her dismount. Little step there too.
And Amber Hammerschmidt. Good work for her. Jordan Sexton now for Michigan. Jordan, a senior from North Carolina, a 9'8" on the floor. Redshirted a year, so she's technically a fourth-year junior. Here she is on the uneven bars.
Line change. Here comes the Tkachev.
And
Right
not just a Tkachev, but a huge Tkachev. She let go a little bit early back to that low bar, a little bit shy of the handstand.
And this is a risky dismount, a blind change to a double front blind. Wow. It doesn't get much better than that on that landing.
Her lines, Jordan's lines, her toe point, her legs are just exquisite.
You talk about the lines, you see she has an excellent toe point, just a tiny bit of hyperextension in her knees to give her that nice line, and just nails that dismount. Big smiles from Michigan.
Can't ask for a much better landing
I
than
think she surprised herself. What do you think?
Well, she's gone 9.85. Let's see what she gets today. Jordan Sexton, senior, tri-captain for the University of Michigan. Michigan State, this is Nikki Argyros.
Just a little bit of pike down. She didn't need it because it made her take a hop backwards. If she had flared that out a little bit more, she might have stuck that landing.
Junior from Livonia. And here live, Nicole Curler, senior from Bay City.
Strong approach.
There's that blind landing again, just a half twist. That step forward will cost her maybe 10th and a half, depending on the judge.
He's looking for a strong finish in the all-arounds as we go to Sarah Curtis, the senior for Michigan, here on the uneven bars, where she's 5th in the conference.
Good handstands.
She just finished her first release move to catch up, going the other direction. Second release, pack salto.
Sarah planning on being a doctor after gymnastics. Just a dismount, double layout. Stick, almost a stick, just a hop.
Michigan is really going for every single 10th. They're going for those handstands. They're going for the stuck landings. And that's going to make all the difference in the end. Big dismount. You can see how she rises above that high bar. The tiniest step.
And Sarah Curtis, one of the all-around contenders. Now let's go to Isla on the floor. Corey Gabesian, who really likes to rock it.
She must be feeling so good after balance beam, hoping to continue that energy into her floor exercise. She's great on this event, really expressive, fantastic tumbling, super, super dynamic.
See Larissa Libby there, the coach.
And you mentioned how strong of an athlete is. And in this sport, you have to be so incredibly strong, so incredibly conditioned. I condition my gymnasts at Gym America, and I have girls that do 2 sets of 20 pull-ups each day. And that just tells you how strong these women are.
That's right, and you need that for this sport. A lot of people don't know how strong you have to be.
Oh, you see that smile, that's real. Kylie Botterman concentrating hard. She's had an outstanding meet so far. Here she goes on the bars. She's tops in the conference on this event. Finished 4th a year ago in the championships.
Big Takacha. Oh, she's off.
Scott Sherman offering some consolation, also getting her back up after a 5/10 deduction.
Tell you about that rhythm on uneven bars. Very difficult to remount the bar. You can tell how great a competitor she is. She is just getting right back into the swing of things. This is big for Michigan and for her individually.
Yeah, and that's very tough to come back, and that's unfortunately that's going to take her right out of the all-around hunt. And Michigan had a big opportunity right there to end that bar rotation with a huge score, but they will not be able to count that score.
She really went after this release move. Lots of tap, lots of height. Just brought it over the high bar a little bit too far.
Everything was just a little too late.
She ended very strongly, though. A true competitor. Beautiful double layout with a full twist. Very difficult.
And Alexis Russell goes to the beam for Minnesota. Alexis, again, one of the all-around challengers. Good score on the bars, the 9.850. She was 5th in the championships a year ago. And just waiting for the judges to give her the okay. And while we're waiting, let's go to a few minutes ago. This is Rochelle Robinson, Michigan State. Watch her on the ball. 7th in the conference. Let's see what she does.
Love the amplitude that she gets off the vault. Had a little too much power and had to take 2 steps.
You can see as she stepped back, she brought her front foot back to her back foot, which actually, as Eddie said, will count as 2 steps for her.
And Meg Stevenson still looking on with Alexis Russell, trying to get, as we used to say, the show on the road. The judges will not be rushed, nor should they be. Who said that?
And the judges are ready.
We told you she finished top 5 at the championships on beam a year ago. Alexis, a senior from Oakdale, Minnesota.
And you'll see why. She is an outstanding beam performer. Her dance is beautiful. She's very clean, very confident. You just see the expression down to every detail in her hands and fingers. It's beautiful to watch. Back handspring layout, step out for her flight series.
Beautiful leaps, just a small bobble.
See how focused she is up on that balance beam. Her eyes do not move from it. Front tuck.
Very confident in her gymnastics.
Switch side. Difficult dance element right there. Pretty high in value. Just her dismount left. I've seen her nail these in warm-up and practice yesterday. Front full.
And she nails it
just
again.
like that. Stuck landing.
Meg Stevenson, the Golden Gophers, getting a strong performance from Alexis Russell.
Coming towards you, front tuck. Pulls it right back up. Punch front full right off the end, just as she has practiced. Stuck landing.
All right. Let's take a look at the floor. Here's Jessa Hansen. We heard that she came down with a bloody nose just before she's supposed to go. Gamer that she is, the sophomore is, oh, you see, oh boy. I don't know if she hit or if this.
Right before she competes.
That's tough to do.
Ever happened to you, Elise?
She's competing
no.
with it in.
And look at her. What a competitor.
Well, we'll see. Good meet so far. You see her first 2 events solid, 9/8. And Iowa really having a rebirth here at the championships after a rough regular season.
We saw some beautiful choreography from her on the balance beam. We're going to see again right here.
Double front. Just too much power, had to step out of bounds, a couple steps.
And you do not see that pass very often at all. She ran all the way down the diagonal, and the only skill she did in that entire pass is a punch, double front. Very difficult, very impressive. You don't see it too often.
And you lose a 10th for the out of bounds, or will it be more because it was 2 steps?
Just a 10th. I only saw 1 foot go off. This routine is packed full of difficulty, that's for sure.
Jessa, one of the gymnasts for the Hawkeyes who grew up in a hurry over the season.
She sure knows how to compete, not even thinking about that bloody nose when she's out there. Just concentrating on what she has to get done for that team.
And that could be a big distraction, but she seems to be handling it pretty well here.
Really could, yes. Handling it beautifully. Third pass, final run.
Good finish.
Nice.
Jessa Hansen for the University of Iowa. Now that was gutsy.
What a competitor.
That was strong.
Wow.
That was very strong.
All right, now Jessa's going to go.
And
All right. Okay.
trainer's taking care of her.
Oh boy. All right. She'll keep those photos for the family album. Here's Anna Balboa on the beam for the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. Anna, first time we're seeing her from Monterrey, Mexico, a junior, where she trained with another famous Gopher gymnast, Judy
Back
Cavazos.
handspring, layout, step out. Flawless, no bobbles there.
And as we were saying, Judy Cavazos, one of the outstanding gymnasts for the Gophers a few years ago.
Anna did a beautiful jump just a moment ago, called a sheep jump, where she loses sight of the beam, throws her head back, resights the beam and lands. Switch side. That's a very difficult dance element. It's actually worth some of the acrobatic skills that we've seen tonight. Dance element hitch kick into a back gainer full. Solid routine from Anna.
Anna Balboa, junior for the Golden Gophers. All right, we move along. Here again, we're in the 5th rotation. We're on the floor with Iowa and Becky Sambudis, ranked number 9, and she an all-around competitor with 2 strong 9.85 so far. Here she is on the floor, where Larissa Libby has been trying to work with her and said the one thing about Rebecca is I want her to break out of her shell. I want her to be more exuberant, more excited. And we'll see her in a minute. Meanwhile, this is Kristen Furukawa of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. She's on the beam, 9.8 on the bars you saw. And she's got 4 wins on the season on the balance beam for the Gophers.
She's outstanding on this event. Her toe point, her lines, her execution. She always looks very confident, very crisp, and all of her choreographer, and obviously in her acrobatic skills as well.
Having a great competition so far.
You see Jim Stevenson looking on, the longtime co-head coach of the Gophers and wife of Meg, who finally stepped down, is acting as a volunteer coach now.
Front aerial just done. What's difficult about the balance beam is you have to hide all the nerves that you're feeling inside. It tends to make you a little bit shaky up on the event, but on your exterior, you just have to look solid and confident. And she absolutely does.
She looks both.
Nice.
Kristen Furukawa from Pomona, California.
Yes, this lovely mount here. She rolls herself. Watch this, right over her back, down the beam.
Pretty cool skill.
And they cheer the sports management major for the Gophers. Now we go to the floor, and here's Becky Sambudis. We told you they're trying to get her to be a little less inhibited. What do you think?
Well, she's coming out of her shell today. Whip to a double pike.
Nice.
It's the first time we've seen that pass today.
And doing that whip element, which is just a back handspring really with no hands, but going directly into a double pike adds a great amount of difficulty to that pass.
She's also a Gymnast of the Year nominee.
See her older sister in the corner there looking on.
Jennifer competed here last year.
Having a lot of fun out there with this routine.
And you notice how the rest of the team knows the routine because they're mimicking it in the background.
Yeah, they stand behind and do the moves in the background.
Oh, yes, all the time.
Gymnastics right there.
And of course, Jess is standing there with her nose all plugged up. She's still getting into it.
Cheering away, though.
Oh, my.
Team player she is. Another whip pass.
Lovely routine by Rebecca Sambudis of Iowa.
This is the whip to a punch 1.5 twist, lay out with 1.5. There's a lot of whip work. Small separation in the legs.
All right, 2 rotations to go. The competition heats up. The storylines build. We'll have it all for you. Stay tuned. We'll be back.